Hello chefs and welcome back to my kitchen. Today's recipe is fried fish and shrimps the Egyptian way. I'm using tilapia fish since it's one of the most famous in Egypt due to its wide availability in the Nile River. You can use the same marinade with other seafood like calamari for example. Now fish, garlic, cumin and lemon are best friends, so we use lots of garlic when cooking fish. The more the better. In a mini chopper, add around half a cup of garlic or a big handful of garlic, along with 1 large green bell pepper. Then add 2 tablespoons of salt, you can adjust the amount of salt to taste of course, and 2 tablespoons of cumin. We like the fish to have a little kick of heat, so I added some cayenne pepper. I usually add jalapenos, but I didn't have any on hand, so the cayenne pepper did the trick. Then add the juice of 2 limes, or you can add 1 large lemon. Then I'll finally chop all that together until it's very smooth. Now this is the consistency we're looking for. It's not watery, but it's very fine. Here I have a clean, fresh tilapia. I'm just cutting the fins because we don't need those. This actually was a live tilapia that I asked the guy in the market to fish it out of the tank and he cleaned it for me. So I'm just making some slits on the surface of the fish, so when I add the marinade it will penetrate better into the fish. I'll just stuff the marinade into the fish inside the belly and in the slits, covering it all, and I'll just set it aside in a plate and I'll cover it with a plastic wrap. If you're going to only make fish, this is where you stop. You leave it to marinate for a couple of hours in the fridge. But as I told you at the beginning of the video, I will be making some shrimps as well. I'm using the same marinade and I will even be putting the shrimps in the same plate as the fish. I'm just going to show you the cleaning process. So I just take the head of the shrimp and then I'll use the scissors. It's for me the easiest way to clean the shrimps. I'll cut the back of it, or actually it's the abdomen, but I'll just cut the back and devein it, make sure it's clean and give it a quick rinse. I'll use the rest of the marinade that I have and I'll pour that over the shrimps. I'll make sure to stir everything together and get everything covered in the marinade. And as I said, I'll be adding this in the same plate. They're both seafood and I'll be frying them in the same oil, so I don't see why I can't just add them in the same plate. I'll cover that in plastic wrap and leave it to marinate in the fridge for at least 2 hours. The more the better. I like to take it out of the fridge 15 minutes before I start flouring them and frying them. When it comes to flouring them, try to remove as much as possible of the marinade on the shrimps and the fish, because otherwise the garlic in the marinade will burn quickly before the shrimps and the fish cooks. So try to remove as much as possible, then just add them into plain flour, nothing else. I don't add anything else to the flour. I just make sure I remove any excess flour. Now it's a good idea after you do that to leave them outside for like 5 or 10 minutes. The flour will absorb any excess liquid and will create the most amazing crust. It will be crunchy from the outside and tender from the inside. It will be really good. So it's a good idea to leave them outside after you flour them for like 5 or 10 minutes until the oil gets ready and hot. And then we will fry them. Now when I make fish and shrimps together, I always cook my shrimps first in the clean oil. I use sunflower oil always with anything that I fry, and I cook them in batches. I don't want to overcrowd the pan, otherwise the temperature will drop and the crust outside is not going to be crunchy. Keep in mind that shrimps cook really quickly, so don't overcook them, otherwise they're gonna be rubbery and they're not gonna taste good. I'll do the same thing with the fish. I'll just cook them in batches. Now for the fish, I don't have a time limit because it depends on how big your fish is. I always like to get smaller fish. For me, they taste sweeter. So just keep an eye on them and then try to poke them with a knife or something. But for me, once I see the nice caramelized color outside, I know the fish is done. I'll flip it around for a couple of times for even cooking, and then I will take it out after it's done and put it on a paper towel to drain any excess oil. I do the same thing with the shrimps as well. When it comes out, I just serve it, and we usually eat any seafood with sayadea rice, which I'll be sharing the recipe for it very soon. There you go. I hope you try it out. It's very tasty, very flavorful, and you will enjoy it. Please consider subscribing if you like this recipe, and also hit the like and the bell button to get notified with all the new uploads. Bon appétit, or as we say in Egypt, صحة وعافية.